With Frank's recent nerfs, people are wondering if he's still good. So today, we'll show you his new best build while explaining how to play him and use his new abilities. One important thing to understand right away is that Frank's attack delay decreases as his health goes down. At full HP, there's about a 1-second delay before each attack. When you're low, that delay almost disappears. This means Frank actually becomes more dangerous the closer he is to dying. Since most of the time you'll be playing on high health, bushes are absolutely essential when playing Frank. Sneaking up on enemies will make your attack far more reliable. If you're caught out in the open, landing shots becomes much harder, so you usually want to back up or dodge unless you're confident you can kill your enemies. However, if you're about to die and escape clearly isn't possible, spam your attacks. His attack delay will be very low, letting you output damage very quickly. Also when attacking, if you think your current attack will kill, don't shoot another. It wastes a lot of time. This might seem really basic, but I see this a lot in newer Frank players. Frank's super is a massive slam that sends out a shockwave, destroying walls and stunning enemies for 2 seconds. Frank charges his super by taking damage, which is great with his tanky playstyle. The super has a very long wind-up and does not activate faster at low health, so using it when you're low is risky. If you get interrupted, you'll die and respawn without it. Because of this, you should almost never super while panicking. Your attacks are far more likely to kill. The best way to land Frank's super is from inside a bush. Enemies can't see some of the wind-up, making it much harder for them to react or interrupt you. Of course, try to hit multiple enemies whenever possible, and make sure they're close enough that they can't simply walk out of the stun. Always make sure you have ammo before using super. This applies to every brawler, but it's especially important on Frank so you can maximize your super value. Be careful with how many walls you break. Opening the map too much often makes it easier for enemies to outrange you. Only fully open the map if the enemy is running something like double thrower. His first gadget fires a sound wave that deals 1,200 damage and makes Frank immune to knockback, stuns, and other effects for 3.5 seconds. This gadget has no attack delay and should be used before you super, preventing enemies from cancelling it. Confident players who think they can interrupt you often will get stunned by it. With the Buffy, the sound wave also destroys enemy projectiles. Projectiles that explode or leave lingering effects, like Brock or Spike, will still trigger, so it's a nice bonus but nothing game-breaking. His second gadget fires a long-range attack that pulls enemies toward Frank, consuming ammo and dealing his main attack damage. Enemies are only pulled about halfway to you, but this gadget is extremely strong against mid-range brawlers who think they outrange you. It is a small projectile though, and requires good aim. Now with the Buffy, enemies are slowed for 5 seconds, which is almost a guaranteed kill if it connects. There's also a weird visual bug where if you shoot your gadget right after releasing your main attack, it looks like you're attacking in 2 directions. Not super useful, but might trip up your enemies. This gadget also activates faster when Frank is low health, making it the better gadget overall in most situations. His first star power makes it so after defeating a brawler, Frank gains a 25% damage buff for 12 seconds. The boost doesn't stack, but getting another kill refreshes the duration. This is essential for chaining supers and pulling off team wipes. With the Buffy, Frank also heals 4,480 health over 3 seconds after a kill, and this effect stacks. So 2 kills means nearly 9,000 healing, which makes Frank incredibly hard to take down. His second star power, Sponge, gives Frank 1,400 max health. With the Buffy, when Frank is above half HP, he takes 15% reduced damage. This is very strong against tank counters and tough matchups where it's hard to get value from power grab. It lets you soak significantly more damage and survive longer in fights where you'd normally struggle. I'd recommend power grab overall, but Sponge against counters. His hyper makes Frank's super hit in a full circle around him. The radius is slightly shorter than his normal super range and can still be dodged, so you should stand closer to enemies to maximize the stun chance. The real power comes from the Buffy. It increases his hypercharge duration by 2 seconds and gives Frank almost no attack delay. Every second of hypercharge matters, so always activate it with full ammo. It's also completely valid to use hypercharge without super. The insanely fast attacks alone are often enough to wipe a team if enemies are already pushed back and forced to fight you. Damage and health gear are your best options in most cases. Frank performs best in control-based modes when there are enough bushes, and he's strong in Brawl Ball. Frank is very strong against assassins and short-range brawlers, though some dashing assassins you might find annoying. He does very well into brawlers like Grom and Tick with slow, predictable attacks. He struggles against anti-tanks, some snipers on open maps, and some throwers on closed maps. His biggest counters are Primo and Ems. Primo can cancel your super with both his gadgets and super, while Ems can easily keep distance and kill him in 3 shots with damage gear. The recent aimable gadget change makes it so you can no longer prevent a gene pull. However, against Kit, activating noise cancelling before his super lets you attack him. Frank's main attack has slightly longer range on the sides, which is useful for hitting around walls. In a Frank 1 vs 1, let the enemy Frank hit you right before you attack. Your faster attack speed can make a difference. And that wraps up the Frank guide. If this helped you out, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.